So we'll watch another game where positioning and micro might matter more. We'll go to Super Saturday. Do you know which game you should analyze? The Try Hard No Talk game versus Hunter. Exactly. That's what I was going to. Great suggestion, Mina. There was a request on Friday. And the request went like this. Full domination, no commentary, just play. Last game of Friday. So I didn't commentate this one at all. So it's perfect for commentating requests. Alright. I am teal, he's red. That works. So when I swap, it won't swap. Awesome. I remember watching that game. Should be good to watch. Through. Cheers. My pleasure, Twitch. So we're going to focus on the micro essentials. So I'll briefly gloss over his build. We can see he's going for the Hunter's Hole before Moonwell opener, one archer. I did immediate harass with an advanced shop.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
He then went to the top left. After I finished scoping out the bottom right, I realized he wasn't there. I stole this, so that was nice. Again, nothing about positioning yet. We stole the mage 5 and the item. It's huge.
Goddess, like our warriors.
So this is his build where he goes for a bunch of huntress. Like 4. 1 archer, bunch of huntress, 4.
Goddess,
He'll hire alchemist. And then he makes a tree of life while he's pushing your base. He's still level 1 and I'm level 2. I got all the information I need.
our warriors
And he finishes my natural. Gets level 2. Goes to my main. A huntress spotted me. So I stopped creeping right away. Which actually sent me in the direction of where he is as well. So that's a mistake by him. And ends up he's at the expansion. My mistake is walking in and losing a grunt to entangle. I killed the treants and I do not deny the grunt. He didn't expand behind this. He's got 800 gold. Bit of a mistake.
We can't build there. Ready to brew.
And then he makes shop, alchemist, more huntress. And we fight. And kill some hunts. So in this case, this is I guess the earliest micro moment that matters. I can go for heals, snakes or hex. When I go for hex against no staff, I can get kills on huntresses. Snakes can be out microed and it will just be a 0 lethality night elf situation. I'll damage things but I won't kill anything. With hex I can kill things unless he has wisp or staff. He is bringing wisp now but a bit late. And he's going for no expansion yet. I feel like his expo is late. So we get some kills. We have a nice boosted blade. And he doesn't have a lot of mana on Keeper. Hero focus is always better than Huntress focus. You just take a Huntress if there's nothing else in range. We're in position of the shop so we can actually buy a heal pot on Shadow. And then we went for a quick Wyvern because I know his strat. 1 archer, 4 hunts. So the Wyvern of course should always be focusing Huntresses except in a situation like this where you finish off an alchemist. Don't let your Wyvern auto attack because it will just go for the Keeper. Again, if you're putting everything on the focus fire of the Keeper, it's okay. But otherwise that Wyvern should be on the Huntress. And I think even now, it should have been on the Huntress all along. Of course, I had a chance to get Keeper and you wouldn't have wanted to miss some damage because of that. So I go Clarity so I can do another Hex. And some body blocks. So this is everything here is in control group 1. This is control group 3. This is control group 2. So you put the 2 on any Huntress and then you just forget about it. You know they don't have anti-air yet, so you don't need to worry about it. So you put the way that you do the best block here is you take your control group 1, you click in his base, or you click in his base, then you take everything else, you attack the Huntress, And then you take F1, which is your blade, and you start body blocking. Or you can just hex.
Our warriors have engaged.
Well, you should definitely focus Huntress, is what I'm saying, Lusk.
Our sacred grove
With
is being
Wyvern, because he
decimated.
does bonus damage on armored.
Research finished.
So there we go, second Age of War, no expo. That was a mistake, Dust.
Our warriors have
We both do the shop. Now I'm starting to get raiders and more walkers. So I personally group raider and wyvern together because their damage type is good against unarmored. But it is a bit weird to have an air unit together with ground. Alternatively, you can put your raider with the grunts, the blade, the shadow. But I like to have my raider and wyvern be flexible and mobile. We start the tower expo, we start fortified defenses, and we lose a grunt to creeps. He's switching to mass archers, which is interesting because it's actually the wrong choice. I'm not massing wyverns, I just have the one. He would have been better off with mass huntress against what I have. Though of course it ends up working out just fine, archers are good too. Good against Walker, good against Kodo. Got the class plus 12. The reason you pull the Ogre is because it's much safer to creep it here. And he casts almost no shockwaves when you do it like that. You also have the option to creep the Ogre and then get out. When you go in, you always commit to the full camp and take a lot of damage. So he goes for an attack. Expanding behind it. 50 food with heal and protection scroll. Lots of treants. So this is the most interesting fight of the game. He's got 50 food and protection scroll. Takes 45 seconds. If I go in now, he's got that bonus armor. 2 armor isn't the end of the world. He might have had Devotion aura, for instance, and it's the same thing. Instead of this Bone Chimes, which is nearly useless. I think a lot of it is a mental effect as well, but it's not negligible either. 2 armors, it's a pretty big deal. Now I'm expanding behind this. In fact, I started this when I knew he's attacking, because this is the best thing I have going for me in terms of preparing for the aftermath. I think this is not going to end the game because I have fortified defenses. The graphic is actually bugged out. All these burrows are fortified. So I'm gonna lose 1 for sure, but the other 3 most likely will stay alive. So this is a good rebuffering, like build-up point. Now I've got only 3 grunts and some are hurt. 1 raider, 1 Kodo, 2 walkers and a headhunter. That's not as much raw power as what he has. Why is my army so small? It's because I guess they all cost a lot of food. Archers don't. He's also got an attack upgrade and I don't. And then keep in mind some of my units are hurt. So my first priority is to sell something that Blade has and to add value to my army as well, like heal scroll. My Blade is here, sells gauntlet, gets heal scroll. Then I'm trying to basically buy as much time as possible by reducing the amount of Spirit Walker treants he has, which help buffer a lot of his hits. So I go in here with the disenchants on the trees, but I do move too far forward with a walker. And I take a lot of damage on this one in particular. I do have speed scroll, but I might be forced to use it earlier than I would like. So I get in position here. Note that I want to start that fight right away with disenchant. Like, there's so many things you could start with. Hex, Windwalk, Ensnare, Kodo Eat, attack move, focus firing a specific unit. But you always start with disenchant, because treants will take hits that otherwise would go to other units. So that's the first priority. I still have enough mana. Then you speed scroll, it's to make the Kodo eat faster. Oftentimes the Night Elf will respond to a Kodo eat with Archer Focus Fire, Mana Stone Entangle, take it down, run away a hunt. But with speed scroll there's almost no reaction time. Again, Kodo is something you should do prioritized, because you take away one of the DPS of his units instantly. And you start devouring instantly, which means there might be a good chance at the end of the fight you can eat again. Then we focus fire everything on a huntress. So we've already dealt with 6 treants and 2 huntresses right away. So if we end up moving away now, that will be fine. So we see Alchemist, he's got Greater Heal. You gotta click their heroes. Greater Heal means any Alchemist focus fire is completely wasted. So we should like to kill more huntresses, but we don't have an ensnare currently. So all we can do is just attack. So I think it would have been nice to move back. Now he did use Heal Pot, Mana Stone. And this Wyvern is attacking an archer right now. 1 or 2 hits went to an archer. And suddenly, okay, we have to move back. I don't have speed scroll anymore. But he only has the 1 entangle. If there's one thing I could have done differently, would have wanted to do differently, is build 2 burrows during that fight. Always start your macro before you start a fight. So that by the time the fight is in progress, it finishes. It's not realistic to build a burrow mid-fight. You're gonna lose your hero by not looking at it. Luckily we started building a shop at the expansion, and that's, I think, what saved us. We also went to get a greater invul, a smaller invul, lesser, which keeps us safe also. We should do double clarity, heal solve, times 2 speed scroll and mana pot, and we did just that. Now his expansion is finished. He also starts his macro before the fight, but so is ours almost finished. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the new burrow has the reinforced look, but the rest doesn't because of the bug. And he killed that burrow, good job. He leveled up from it. That's an ouch. So he's 53 food, and I wonder if he's gonna cancel. He's not. Okay, that was a finished unit. So he pumped straight over 50, showing how aggressive Hunter generally thinks about the game. He doesn't even take a breather at 50. Rally a bit of money, over Moonwell 1 more, and then go for 70 food. When you immediately go over 50, it'll take you a long time to get to 70. You'll get to 60, maybe 65. Whereas for me, I have no choice. I'm mining finally on 1.4 basis. He got a lot of value there with heal spray, and he has 2 attack upgrades. I get this creep camp. The Wyvern survived throughout all of that, which is great.
Work complete.
And I did lose a lot of production buildings, so we're going to be remaking those. He gets heal scroll if he could. In fact, I think I bought away all the heal scrolls. Yep. So that's cool. Both heal scrolls went to me from my shop. That forces him, instead of being aggressive, to move to the other shop also to get more heal scroll. But remember what I said? 53 food after TP before the mine was fully up? He's stuck at 60. So he gets double heal scroll and he's only 56 food. Without that breather. The equivalent of a Counter-Strike eco round with pistol. That's taking a breather on 50. So at this time I have 4 on gold. Here I have nothing on lumber. So I'm actually in an atrocious place economically. But I'm in a great place in terms of positioning. So that's what I need to leverage. There would not be a worse move I could do than to chase him into this alley. My towers, my place of strength is here. Furthermore, while I'm saving up on 50, which means I'm actively getting ahead of him in a 57 food situation, I'm not actually able to use that for a single unit because of the lack of lumber that I have. After these 2 buildings finish, I will have 1, 2, 3 peons on lumber. But if I go over 50 now with a single peon to fill this gold mine and a single peon here to have more on lumber, I'll be 52 and waiting for my totem to finish. So there's really no point to do anything except camp. So I do a very non-committal army back, only hero finish off that thing. He doesn't like waiting because of the gold situation that I just explained. My goal here is to survive. And my micro will reflect that. I'm gonna get loads of gold to rebuild, but I have nothing effective now during the fight. So I'm gonna take a very defensive position behind my base, and my eyes will be like a hawk on the next entangle to immediately select walkers disenchant, and lose the unit anyway due to cramped positioning. But that's just unlucky. I have invul, so I just focus archers, the highest priority unit to focus. And the best man to do it, Nikoro. Archers have high damage, low health, so put your Blade Master on them. And your grunts too if you can. But not your Kodo Raider, Walker, Berserker and Headhunter, or Wyvern. Grunts and Blade, yes. Which means you should have a hands-off approach with them after putting them in the right place, or to be very good at continually focus firing archers. That was bad. Trying to hex one, the other detonates, freeze the hex and also detonates. So instead of losing 100 mana, I lose 170. However, gold is in abundance. So I'm going over 50 now because I feel like maybe he will attack again. So he lost quite a lot of units there. We still have double heal scroll. We know he lost protection. All we lost is invul. So we're not being too greedy by staying at 50 even more. We also needed bonus peons for lumber. So we might as well make a grunt and a walker to go over. And that's exactly what we do. So we're at 56 food now. What I don't like about this is I don't have a burrow to go to 70. Now is the right time to make it. But you can't have it all. It's still better to be at 60 than to be at 50. Like the greediest thing you can do is to be 50 out of 70 and then mass produce. But this is a more gradual approach. The same one that Hunter picked a few minutes ago is to have 50 with a cap of 60. Now he's still not making an extra Moonwell. There we go. Now he can go to 70 and he's got the gold to do it. So he's level 4-3, almost 4-4. He's got a heal scroll, second heal scroll. So he's gonna be in 70 food in maybe 2-3 minutes. I could probably do the same because my burrow is 70%. I finish off some creeps here. I'll remove Fog of War. You can see we're creeping opposite sides of the map. He gets a Helm of Valor. Not that great for him at all. A bit of tree and harass, but I get the disenchant, so all the experience goes to me, which means Shadowhunter will also easily be level 5. Pendant of Energy, Pendant of GG, Energy. Then no lumber for Bestiary yet, which means a Shredder would be perfect. The conditions for Shredder are perfect. I have 100 lumber, I have 5 food available, he costs 100 lumber and 4 food. So we get the Shredder, which means in 2 minutes from now we'll be making raiders again. Maybe 2-3 minutes. Probably too late to matter for the fight. He's actually got a lot of gold because he's not full producing from AOWs. And he doesn't have triple AOW. You can support triple. So he did have second armor upgrade and the first armor upgrade. So he's 2-2, very, very well upgraded. And yeah, he's gonna be 80 food momentarily, bringing all his wisps. And he even hired an ogre mauler, a 2-headed behemoth of a creature. But he's level 4-4 and we're 5-5 with Pendant of Energy. Now let's talk about positioning again. This is what I see. Okay, this is what I have. I'm 70 food, but it looks pathetically small. And that's a lot of archers that we saw. And we also see wisps. And we know how these fights go. You engage, wisps come from the flank, you're too busy with the army to deal with the wisps. But our resource is a high level blade that can double shot or single shot wisps. So this is our approach, our tactics for the fight. We will kill as many wisps as we can while keeping our walkers 2/3 of a screen away. So that if we get entangled, we disenchant. He isn't left by himself. So we don't have to use any of these lovely items. It would be safer to do it with an invul, but I have the potion already and no space to get the invul. So we just use walkers. And if he runs for my shadow, I've got either TP or speed scroll. So basically we have all the balls in our court. We just don't want to deal with these wisps in the fight, but before. It's very similar to the old Druids of the Talon style, where... One more. the old druids of the Talon style, where they go Talon Fairy Dragon. Orc cannot deal with Talon Fairy Dragon mid-fight by focus firing them. They need to deal with them before, which is why you make Bat Riders and you put them in a separate control group and you try to snipe Fairy Dragons at every point in the game, but not in the fight. And it's like a reaction speed battle. So I'm still 70 food, my burrow is late, it's just about finishing. My shredder's working away well, my Bishuri is coming up. My upgrades are 0-1. And he's 2-2. I killed a bunch of wisps, he doesn't have many left. I have TP, which is a resource that I can use to choose where we're going to fight. And by pressuring his Tree of Life, he has to TP or accept playing 1 versus 2-3 bases. He TPs immediately. And I can either speed scroll, which is the greedy version, or I can TP, which is the safe version. Well, you guys know me as greedy. Disenchant still lost the walker, and that's it. That's okay. We're now reproducing some units again and getting more upgrades? No. Now, I could turn around here, but my grunts are on top and my walkers are below. Even if his hunts and archers may have trouble squeezing through this opening, I can never get to his archers and my blade doesn't have enough mana to continually deal with the archers. So I'm actually just gonna continue killing wisps. Just so I don't get detonated during the fight, because my power is magic. Kill more wisps and just run. Eat a huntress, why not, and just run. So I think the time has come to just heal and TP. My blade is just doing other things. Heal and run, or heal and TP.
Work complete.
Just use blade to tank. So this is a perfect situation, right? Like some of his archers aren't firing, but they will. Like this is normally a good positioning for him. Alchemist Huntress at the front, archers behind. Such beautiful formation. One shot, one kill. But we're not gonna go ham. If we go ham, this might be a troublesome position for me. He can bring wisps in a moment. He can unload this mine and bring wisps. There's a few things going here though. Keeper has low mana. Hunters are already low. And I've got 2 heal scrolls and a TP. So I think we can play this fight in a few different ways. We can kill like bunch of Huntress and then just TP. We can send Blade with Windwalk to the archers and start hitting them. Or we can just go all the way. 252! She only has 260 life. Look, by putting my blade so far ahead, automatic focus fire goes to the blade. And he has 11.8 armor. So any heal that happens on blade is going to be more worth it. 284 lol. It's going to be more worth it than on other things. He's got everything on my blade. Because I have no invul. 232 lol. So this is turning out to be a really good fight because of the way he's microing it. Instead of killing grunts and having wisps, he has no wisps and no ability to kill the blade. 244. 296. See ya. At the end, the hero levels were a big deal. Well, I hope it was helpful. I feel like I commented more on macro than on micro, but it's kind of hard to, well, to separate the two sometimes.